Welcome to the Databricks Skill Builder series. We're glad you're here.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason. I'm a product manager here at Databricks working on Lakeflow Designer. And today I'm excited to show you a demo of Lakeflow Designer. Today I want to show you first how you can create a file and get started in Lakeflow Designer. Second, how you can add data. There's a few different ways to do that, so I'll talk through those ways and the pros and cons of those. Third, how you can transform data using your no-code drag and drop UI or via Geniode. And then fourth, once we've transformed our data, how can we bring that into production? There's a few different ways to do that with Lakeflow Designer, so I want to talk through some of those. So let's dive in. To get started with Lakeflow Designer, we need to go over to the global new menu and hit Visual Data Prep. This is our entry point. And then once we do that, we're brought into the tabbed Workspace editor and we have the interface. On the left here, we have your operators. So you have things like your aggregate node, your join operator, your pivot operator, all of the ways that you'll transform your data. In the middle here, you have the canvas, which is where the operators will sit, where you'll see the flow of your data. And then if I add a source node here, for example, you'll see on the right-hand side, you have the operator configuration details. So that's kind of the layout here. Left is operators, in the middle you have your workflow, and then on the right you have the configuration for specific operators. Now, to get started with Lakeflow Designer, the first thing that we really need to do is add some data. So there's a few different ways to do that. The first is by just adding a source node directly. So I could collect this select source node, or I could click on the source node operator here. Or for example, if I wanted to, I could have drag and dropped it on the canvas. So drag it here to do that. And then from there, we have different options for getting started with our data. So the first is I could browse an existing asset. So if I have something in Unique Catalog on Databricks already, if I wanted to create a new table from a file, I could do that. If I want to import a local file and just put that in a volume, I could do that. Or if I want to connect to different external sources like Google Drive or SharePoint, I could do that. For the purposes of this demo, I'm primarily going to be working with Databricks or with data that's already in Databricks. So I can go ahead and browse existing here, and then I'll say hotel bookings, for example, and then it will show I have a table in my user directory called hotel bookings, and I can add that in. The next way to add data that I want to show is kind of, I think it's a little bit of a pro tip that not a lot of people know about, but if you go over to the Catalog Explorer left panel here, you can then drag tables in directly from here. So this is really convenient if you want to add, like for example, multiple tables from the same schema or catalog. You can just really easily drag them over. So for example, I could throw in cities in here, and then I want to throw in properties, for example. I could throw in as many as I want. It's just really quickly to do that as opposed to creating multiple source nodes over and over again. So let's close that for now, and then talk about one more way to add data, and that is from your local machine. So we know that maybe ideally you'd like to have all of your data in Databricks, but that in reality, you often have local files you need to pull into your analysis. And so we've made it really simple to do that in Lakeflow Designer. If I go over here to my Finder, for example, I have this hotel review CSV. I can just go and drag this onto the canvas here. And it will basically say, hey, where do you want to put this? I've already got this file because I've done this demo before, but I'll say overwrite files with the same file name, and then hit upload. And then in just a matter of seconds, we should see some of the data that we had in that CSV in our preview. And so there we go. Awesome. So now we have the data in Databricks or in Lakeflow Designer that we're going to work with. Before we start to transform, I want to show one more thing, and that is kind of the data profiling capabilities that we have in Lakeflow Designer. So for example, if I was to click on this hotel bookings, or maybe reviews is a better one because we have some numeric values, we have this selection details panel here. And when you select things, it will automatically show you a profile of stuff. So for example, what if I want to look at the overall rating? I can just highlight the cells that I have, and then I'll see a data profile here. So I can see, like I have a min value, I can see the median value, and then I have a nice little graph of the distribution. If I want to see this for the whole table, I could just click on all of the columns here, and then we're really easily able to see basically stats for all the different columns inside of our table. And so if we were looking for maybe where data quality issues were coming up or what was happening, this could be a good place to start here, is in the selection details. Cool thing too is it's like works for partial selections. For example, if you only want to select a few things, you can definitely do that as well. All right, now that we have looked at our data, now the next thing I want to do is prepare it. And before we start jumping in, maybe we should talk about the goal and what we're trying to achieve today. So if I go over here to this slide, this was given to me by my manager. He said, hey, Jason, we're presenting to the board. We want to have information on our hotels. This is the information that we have. Can you give me the data to fill it in? I thought, yep, I've got the perfect tool for that. So we want to have the city. We want to have an average sentiment score. We want to have the average number of amenities that each of these hotels have, the overall rating, and then the total cost. So I've got this data in various different tables. We're going to need to do some enrichment of the data. We're going to need to join everything together and then do some aggregations to be able to get the answer here. So let's go dive in and do that. The first thing that I want to do is a pretty simple transformation, and that is I want to take this tier column here, and I want to make this an integer. This isn't super helpful that it's a string right now because if I want to do aggregations, it would just be easier if it was just like 1, 2, 3. So this is a pretty simple one, and I'll just go over here to Geniode and say make tier an integer, please. This is going to go away. It's going to run an agentic loop, and so if it needs to take multiple terms, it can do that. Everything in Geniode is agentic, which is awesome. If it needs to look at the output and see if something was not right, it will check that, and then it will give us back a little summary of the changes that it made. So it looks like it's already gone ahead and proposed a change, and now it's running that to check out the result, and then it will validate it, and then it should afterwards tell us what it did. So I said, okay, perfect. I added a cast tier transform, converting tier 1 or tier from tier 1 into integers like 1, 2, etc. And then the cool thing about Lakeflow Designer is we show you the input on the left and the output on the right side by side so that you can really easily compare to see if the result of the transformation is what you were looking for. So I can see here tier is a string, tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, and then I can go over here. It looks like converted to an integer, and we have 1, 1, 2, which is exactly what I wanted. So that is great. I'll go ahead and accept that. All right, you're like, okay, Jason, that was a pretty easy one. I could have done that by hand pretty easily. Like, is this tool really powerful, or is that all you got? Well, let's go to a more complicated transformation. The next one I want to show you is if we go over to this properties table, we have this amenities column, and it has values like AC, kitchen, parking, pet friendly, etc. But there's no spaces between these. It's not really super usable as is. And if we want to get the average number of amenities, it's going to be hard to work with it like this. So instead, I want to basically take this amenities column, and for every single amenity, I want to break it into its own column. And then I want to have a true or false value if that property has that amenity. So I can just go over here into Geniode again, and I say, for each amenity, break it into its own column, and then provide a true or false value if that property has that amenity. For example, AC, true, kitchen, false. So I'll go ahead and send that off. And if I was not to use Geniode to do this, I would have probably had to write like some sort of regex there and then fill in the values. And honestly, it would have been pretty complex. But thankfully with Geniode, this stuff is hopefully pretty easy. So it looks like we've already proposed what we have here. So we'll go over ahead and click on this, and then it looks like it's now running the change. And then we can go over and scroll and see if it did what we wanted it to. So it looks like we have AC, kitchen, parking, everything's broken into its own column, and then we have true or false values. And then again, if we want to validate, it's really easy. We can go over to this input and say, okay, we had, for the amenities column, this first one had AC, the second one does not have AC, it looks like. So then we have AC true, AC false. And so we can see that. And then we also have the summary here if we wanted. We also have a more in-depth summary if we wanted up here to see what Geniode did. And so this looks great. Everything is looking good. So I'll go ahead and accept this. The next thing that I want to do is join together all of these tables. So, we have different information, right? We have like the reviews, which has the average, or we'll have the ratings, but we have the bookings, which has other information. Maybe like about the average price and whatnot. And then we also need to get combined with the properties so that we have the amenities. So I'll go ahead and join all these tables together. Again, it's really easy. If I use Geniode to do this, I can just say join with cities, properties, and reviews. One cool thing is that based on the way I specified the question, it might have thought to join with the actual like core source nodes and not with what we had transformed them with. But Geniecode's smart enough to realize that we've been preparing this data. Let me use the tables that we've been working with and have that be what represents cities and properties, for example. So we can see it looks like it already did the joins. One thing that is something that I use all the time in Lakeflow Designer is this auto layout button. So I'll go ahead and hit this auto layout here, and then we have a nice little or a nice layout showing exactly what happened. So we said, okay, the first thing it did is it joined with properties, then it joined with cities, and then it joined with reviews over here. And then if we go over here, it looks like we should have all of the information here. So we can just check through. Again, we have the amenities. I see it over here. We have the reviews. We have the comments. So everything looks great there. So that is perfect. So I'll go ahead and accept that now. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to analyze the sentiment of my reviews so that we can get the average sentiment score. This is super, super easy with Lakeflow Designer. I'll go ahead and add operator here. I'll say add an AI function. We have a bunch of different options for this. If I could do, sentiment, classification, if I want to extract certain things, get similarity, summarize, translate, tons of options here. And we're continuing to add options always. But I'll go ahead and hit select sentiment. And then I'll just say I want to analyze the comment field, as that's what had the different reviews. We'll change this to be sentiment. And then we'll go ahead and hit apply. Now, in just a matter of moments, we should have the sentiment for every row in the column. And previously, if I was to do this, I probably would have had to use Python, probably pull in some custom library to be able to calculate the sentiment and whatnot. But with Databricks AI functions built natively into Lakeflow Designer, it's literally just point and click to do this, which is super awesome. All right, and there we go. Now we have the sentiment value, so we can see positive, mixed, or negative for everything. Okay, now we've cleaned the data up a bit. We've joined it all together. We've enriched it with the sentiment. Now it's time to do some aggregations and then do some rounding so we can get the information for the final report. I could, again, use point and click to be able to do these things, or I could ask Geniode directly to help me with this. But I'm going to show one really cool way that I think is a pretty powerful way to transform your data using Geniode, and that is by giving it an example. So I'm actually going to go over here to this slide. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to hit the add attach file. I'll drag in this file here. So this is the one we just did. And I will simply say, transform my data to look like the table in this image. And while it's doing this, I want to briefly talk about kind of the complexity behind doing this. So the first thing is that we see average sentiment here, which is obviously numeric value, but we had sentiment in string values. It was positive, it was negative, it was mixed. And so the first thing it's going to implicitly have to do is it's going to convert sentiment from the string value to a numeric representation so we can have the average sentiment. The next thing it's going to have to do is obviously the aggregations, but then do the rounding here. So I didn't specify to pay attention to the decimals and the rounding, but we can see here I have a specific format. So in these, I want 2 decimal points. For the rating, I want 3 decimal points. And for the total cost, I want no decimals. I want it to just be rounded. And so again, I could have been much more prescriptive and said, hey, you'll have to convert sentiment to a numeric value, and then you'll have to pay attention closely to the rounding. But I think Geniode will be detail-oriented enough and be able to find the answer for us. So if we go back here, it looks like it has already completed the transformation, or it's already proposed things, and now it's just running things. And so it did exactly what we thought it would do. First, it converted sentiment to a numeric score. So if we go over here, it says, oh, it looks like positive becomes 1, mixed neutral becomes 0.5, and then negative becomes 0. And if I click in here, I want to show you how easy it is to tweak things if you want to make individual changes. You don't need to go reprompt and restart everything. I can just go over here to the sentiment score here. We can see I have a description of it as well as the code that was generated from this. I can just simply go over here to this description and say, you know what, I want to have -1 for negative, not 0. And I can go ahead and hit the send button. And then we can see that the code updated immediately to show -1 as opposed to 0. This is kind of a cool thing, but you could also edit the code directly if you wanted to. So I could say, for example, I want to have negative 0.5. 0.5 if you wanted as well. And then this will generate the description as well. So we have this bidirectional sync here where I can really easily make targeted edits just using natural language. The next thing it looks like it did is it ran the aggregation here. And then the final thing it did is it was formatting it for the report. And so it looks like we have our answer here. And let's see if it did the right thing. So we have city, which is great. That's what we wanted. Average sentiment has 2 decimal points, which is what we wanted. Average number of amenities has 2 decimal points, which is great. The overall rating has 3 decimal points. And then the total cost has no decimals, so it's been rounded completely. So we can see with just giving it a simple example in a matter of moments, I was able to do a pretty complex transformation and make my data fit the format that I was looking for. Awesome. With that, I will go ahead and accept that. And now we can talk about a few of the ways that you can then bring your work into production. So like for this case, right, I probably just wanted to, I could copy paste this output table here. I could download it as a CSV or Excel file. But what if I was doing something that I wanted to run every day or I wanted to bring into production? With Lakeflow Designer, one of the awesome features is that everything that we've done has generated production ready PySpark code behind the scenes. So if I go over here to the version history, for example, we can see the code and how it's been edited over time. And so we can see that it's just plain PySpark code that has been written here. And the cool part about it being just code is that I can do code things with it to productionize it. So one of those is I could schedule it. So I could say, hey, I want this to run every single day at a certain time. The other is that I could put it into a Git folder and do CI/CD. For example, we have this visual data prep file here. If I want to move this over into this Git folder, for example, I could do that. If we open this Git folder actions here, I can now see a Git folder where I can go to the Git UI here, and I could then push the changes up to Git. So I could do CI/CD with this. I could put it into a different environment, whatever you want to do with it. The other cool thing is that I can also attach this and make this part of another production pipeline. So say I have a production job already that runs with things, I want to add it to this. I could go over here to the jobs and pipelines page here. I could click on my production job here. I could go to the tasks and I could say, hey, I want to add a new task of what I just did and add the visual data prep file that I just created. So you have a bunch of different options with that because everything's just plain PySpark. Basically everything that you can do with a notebook for productionization, you can also do directly with Lakeflow Designer. All right, that is it for me for the demo. Hope you all enjoyed and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you.